Most people believe eggs are the gold standard of protein, the ultimate food for rebuilding muscle and strength, especially after 60. But what if that's not entirely true? What if nature quietly hid something even more powerful? Not an animal source, but in a simple green vegetable you've probably overlooked your whole life. Here's the surprising truth. After a certain age, it's not just how much protein you eat that matters, it's how well your body uses it. How well your body uses it. And that's where many people unknowingly start to lose the battle against muscle loss. Studies show that after 60, our muscles become resistant to protein absorption. Absorption, meaning that the same breakfast that once kept you strong may no longer do the job. So even if you're eating eggs every morning, your body might be missing out on the nutrients it truly needs to repair, recover, and grow stronger. Here's where the twist comes in. Researchers in Japan recently discovered that certain plant-based proteins, particularly those found in green peas and spinach, can trigger a stronger muscle rebuilding response in older adults compared to animal protein, because these vegetables contain not just protein, but essential phytonutrients, magnesium, and nitrates that improve blood flow and cellular repair, helping your body actually use the protein it consumes. It's not about eating more. It's about eating smarter. Think about that for a second. The same food that grows in your garden may help restore muscle balance, lower inflammation, and support mitochondria, your body's energy engines. Many seniors notice they feel lighter, clearer, and more energized after shifting to plant-forward meals. And it's not coincidence. It's biology. Animal proteins, while powerful, often come with higher acidity and fats that can make recovery slower and digestion harder with age. Vegetables, on the other hand, come with alkaline minerals that keep your muscles hydrated, flexible, and oxygen-rich. Now imagine two people in their 60s. One starts his day with eggs and toast. The other begins with a spinach and pea protein smoothie. Over time, their bodies tell very different stories. One feels stiff, heavy, maybe even tired after meals. The other feels light, focused, and surprisingly strong. That's not luck, it's the chemistry of aging. The difference lies not in calories, but in cellular cooperation. See, muscle recovery isn't just about rebuilding tissue. It's about reducing the silent inflammation that blocks repair. When your diet is heavy in animal protein alone, that inflammation can quietly build. But when you combine or replace some of that with green vegetables rich in amino acids and antioxidants, your body begins to heal faster. You move easier, your energy lasts longer, and your recovery time shrinks. That's why many longevity experts now suggest balancing both animal and plant proteins, or even favoring the latter as you age. So is it time to throw away your eggs? Not necessarily, but it may be time to rethink what a real proteinier means for your body at this stage of life. Because strength after 60 isn't built by tradition, it's built by adaptation. And sometimes the simplest shift from what's on your plate to how it works inside you can change everything. In the next part, we'll look deeper into how this one humble vegetable outperforms eggs in muscle recovery tests, and how just adding a small serving each day can start reversing years of hidden muscle decline. After 60, the rules of the body begin to shift quietly. What once worked effortlessly, a few eggs in the morning, a protein shake after a walk, starts to lose its edge. You might notice it in small ways: slower recovery after mild exercise, a feeling of weakness that lingers, or simply less tone in the muscles you once took for granted. It's not that your body forgets how to build muscle. It's that your cells begin to respond differently to the protein you give them. This subtle change is called anabolic resistance, and it's one of the most overlooked reasons older adults struggle to maintain strength, even when they eat right. At the cellular level, muscle fibers depend on signals triggered by amino acids, particularly leucine, to start the rebuilding process. In younger bodies, these signals fire easily, but as we age, the pathways that activate muscle repair, especially the mTOR pathway, become less sensitive. Imagine trying to start an old car on a cold morning. The engine still works, but it needs a stronger spark. That's what happens inside aging muscles. They still have potential, but they need more targeted stimulation to switch on growth. A study from the University of Birmingham observed that older adults' muscles responded less efficiently to the same protein dose that caused strong muscle synthesis in younger participants. It wasn't about eating more protein. It was about how their body eating more protein. It was a process. The researchers found that increasing blood flow and reducing inflammation around muscle tissue helped restore that lost responsiveness. That's where the quality of your food and the diversity of your diet starts to matter more than ever. Take the example of Helen, a retired teacher who had always been active. She continued her morning routine, two boiled eggs and a cup of tea, long after retirement. But over the years, she noticed her legs felt weaker and climbing stairs became tiring. Her doctor told her to eat more protein, so she added an extra egg. It didn't help. Frustrated, she joined a nutrition workshop where she learned about combining proteins with foods rich in nitrates and phytonutrients like leafy greens and beets. Within weeks of adding a simple green smoothie to her breakfast, Helen began noticing subtle changes. Her walks felt lighter, her recovery quicker. She hadn't added more protein. She'd made her body use it better. The secret lies in oxygen and circulation. Vegetables like spinach and arugula contain natural nitrates that open blood vessels and enhance nutrient delivery to muscle cells. Better circulation means amino acids from the protein you eat actually reach their target, the muscle fibers themselves, instead of being lost or inefficiently absorbed. Think of it like fixing the plumbing before turning up the water pressure. You don't need more water, you just need better flow. At the same time, chronic low-grade inflammation, common after 60, acts like static interference in this process. It blunts cellular signaling and limits how efficiently your muscles respond to protein. Foods rich in antioxidants, such as green vegetables, berries, and herbs, quiet that inflammation and clear the static. When your cells are calm, the repair switch turns back on. The beauty of this process is that it doesn't demand drastic change. It asks for awareness, for the understanding that nutrition in later life is less about quantity and more about cooperation between systems. Your food, circulation, and metabolism are like instruments in an orchestra. When they play in sync, the sound is rich and effortless. When one is off key, everything feels harder. So when you sit down for your next meal, remember your body is still capable of rebuilding strength. It just listens differently now. The goal isn't to eat more protein, but to help your body hear it again. With each mindful meal, you're not just feeding your muscles, you're teaching your cells to remember the rhythm of vitality they were designed to play. The idea that vegetables can build muscle as effectively as meat or eggs sounds almost impossible, until you look deeper into how the body actually rebuilds itself. Muscles don't care where amino acids come from. They care about how efficiently those amino acids reach the cell, how well the body absorbs them, and how much cellular stress is present when repair begins. That's where plant-based proteins, particularly from sources like peas, spinach, and soy, begin to shine. They don't just deliver protein. They bring a full team of supporting nutrients that make the rebuilding process smoother, faster and cleaner. Inside your body, muscle recovery is a symphony of microscopic events. Tiny tears form in your muscle fibers after movement or exertion. Then, amino acids rush in, guided by blood flow, to repair and strengthen those fibers. But this process depends on oxygen. Every cell needs it to produce ATP, the fuel for repair. Plant proteins, unlike dense animal proteins, are rich in natural nitrates and antioxidants that enhance blood vessel flexibility. When those vessels open up, oxygen delivery improves and the repair cycle accelerates. Researchers in Japan found that older adults who consumed plant-based proteins rich in these compounds experienced better muscle oxygenation and recovery after mild exercise compared to those who relied solely on animal protein. It's like this. Imagine two gardens. Both are watered, but one has compacted soil. The water pools at the surface and never truly reaches the roots. The other has loose, nutrient-rich soil, allowing water to seep deep and feed the entire root system. Your muscles are the same way. A diet heavy in animal proteins without enough plant support can create internally compaction through acidity and inflammation, blocking efficient nutrient flow. But when you introduce plants with their alkalizing minerals, antioxidants, and fiber, you loosen that soil. Suddenly, nutrients travel freely, oxygen circulates, and the system revives from within. Consider Daniel, a 67-year-old former carpenter who spent years relying on eggs, fish, and chicken to keep his strength up. But after turning 60, he noticed he was losing endurance and recovering more slowly from simple chores. He assumed it was age. When his daughter, a nutritionist, suggested adding more greens and a daily serving of pea protein, he was skeptical. Still, he tried. Still, he tried. Within a month, Daniel noticed something subtle yet undeniable. His morning stiffness began fading and his energy lasted longer into the afternoon. The difference wasn't in the total protein he ate, it was in how his body responded to it. His circulation improved, inflammation dropped, and his cells began repairing efficiently again. The engines of his metabolism was running cleaner. Biologically, the reason is clear. Plant proteins are surrounded by compounds like magnesium, potassium, and polyphenols, nutrients that reduce oxidative stress and optimize the mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses inside every cell. When these mitochondria function smoothly, they create energy more efficiently and with less weight, and with less waste. And with less waste. That means less fatigue, faster recovery, and a lighter feeling in the body. Not the sluggish heaviness that often follows large animal-based meals. It's not just muscle repair, it's cellular renewal on a deeper level. This is why so many longevity researchers now emphasize the importance of a green protein, foods that repair while cleansing. They help muscles rebuild without taxing the liver or kidneys and support neural balance by reducing inflammation that can travel from the gut to the brain. It's a full body harmony. Oxygen flows, energy stabilizes, and recovery becomes something the body can do with ease again. So when we talk about muscle after 60, we're not talking about brute force. We're talking about efficiency. Strength that comes not from more effort, but from better flow. Each handful of spinach, each scoop of pea protein becomes part of a quiet transformation. The body remembering how to heal itself, one clean, oxygen-rich cell at a time. Inflammation is a quiet thief. It doesn't arrive with alarms or sharp pain. It works silently, stealing strength from the inside out. After 60, it becomes one of the biggest reasons the body struggles to recover, not just from workouts, from everyday life. A small ache here, a slow morning there, those are often the whispers of inflammation at work. When you eat foods that generate acid, stress the gut or overload the liver, this internal fire burns hotter. And while you may still be feeding your muscles plenty of protein, those same flames can block the very repair you're trying to support. Inside your muscles, thousands of tiny fibers depend on precise chemical signals to trigger repair. When inflammation builds, it disrupts this conversation. The body releases cytokines, molecules that are meant to protect, but in excess, end up interfering with muscle recovery. It's like trying to rebuild a house while the smoke alarm keeps going off. The message for growth gets drowned out by the constant background noise. Over time, this low-level inflammation, known as inflammaging, becomes the main reason why muscle strength declines faster than it should. Animal proteins, while rich in amino acids, can add to this problem when consumed in excess or without balance. Their high sulfur and acid load can slightly lower the body's pH, leading to more oxidative stress, a kind of internal rusting. This doesn't mean eggs or meat are bad, but rather that the body needs help neutralizing their effects. That's where green, alkaline-rich vegetables come in. They carry minerals like potassium and magnesium that act as natural buffers, cooling down the acidic environment and giving cells a chance to recover properly. Picture your body as a workshop. When inflammation rises, that workshop fills with smoke. Your tools are still there, but you can't see clearly, and your work slows down. Now imagine opening a window. Fresh air rushes in, clearing the haze. That's what happens when you add more vegetables, antioxidants, and hydration to your daily meals. They open the windows inside your body, clearing the inflammation that clouds your energy, focus, and strength. One story that captures this beautifully is that of Maria, a 72-year-old gardener who had spent decades relying on eggs and meat for her daily protein. Over the years, her knees ached more, and her hands stiffened after a day in the garden. She blamed age, until her granddaughter, studying nutrition, encouraged her to add colorful greens and berries into her diet. Within weeks, Maria noticed she could work longer without fatigue. Her hands didn't swell as much, and her morning walks felt lighter. What changed wasn't her activity, it was her inner environment. The inflammation that once dulled her strength began to quiet down, and the body she thought was a slowing down started remembering how to move freely again. Biologically, this recovery happens because anti-inflammatory foods help mitochondria, the energy centers in every cell, breathe better. When inflammation lowers, mitochondria generate cleaner energy, producing fewer free radicals and supporting the repair It's a cycle. Calm the inflammation, restore the oxygen flow, and the muscles begin to thrive again. Even the nervous system benefits because inflammation doesn't stay local, travels, affecting mood, focus, and motivation. When your inner fire cools, your entire being steadies. Mind, body, and spirit aligning in quiet strength. So the next time you prepare a meal, imagine you're choosing between feeding the fire or calming it. A plate rich in greens, lentils, olive oil, and berries may not look as powerful as a steak, but its impact runs deeper. It nourishes the chemistry of peace inside your body, the stillness where real healing begins. That's where lasting strength is born, not from force, but from balance. When the body is calm, it finally has the space to rebuild. Real change rarely arrives as a grand gesture. More often, it slips in quietly, in the choice to walk instead of drive, to add greens beside your eggs, or to replace one heavy meal with something lighter, cleaner, more alive. These small shifts might seem too simple to matter, but inside the body, they create ripples that expand far beyond what you can see or feel at first. Especially after 60, when metabolism slows and repair takes longer, these small daily decisions begin to act like steady hands guiding the body back into balance. Biology thrives on rhythm, not extremes. When you make a small adjustment and stick to it, your cells begin to adapt. Gently, intelligently. For example, when you swap one animal-based breakfast for a spinach and pea protein smoothie, you're not just changing flavor or calories. You're adjusting the entire chemistry of your internal ecosystem. The plant proteins activate cleaner digestion, the fiber feeds beneficial gut bacteria, and those bacteria, in turn, produce compounds that lower inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity. This gut-muscle connection is one of the quiet miracles of aging well. When your microbiome, the vast community of microbes in your gut, is nourished, your immune system calms, nutrient absorption improves, and your muscles begin receiving the fuel they've been missing. Imagine the body as an ancient tree. Over the years, its bark thickens and some roots grow tangled. You can't make it young again overnight, but you can tend to the soil. You loosen it, water it, add minerals, and slowly, new growth appears. That's what happens when you introduce small, consistent nutritional upgrades. The soil of your body, your gut, your circulation, your cellular environment becomes fertile again. Energy flows freely, and regeneration follows. There's a story of Amir, a retired postman who used to start every day with fried eggs and tea. When his daughter, a physiotherapist, suggested he try alternating his breakfast with a plant-based shake a few days a week, he laughed. "I've eaten eggs my whole life," he said. But he agreed to try just to humor her. The change was so subtle at first, a little less heaviness after breakfast, a bit more energy during his morning walk. Within 2 months, though, Amir realized something had shifted. His digestion felt smoother, his afternoon fatigue faded, and he could climb the stairs without pausing halfway. Nothing radical had changed. No extreme diets, no supplements. Just a small shift, repeated often enough to reteach his body how to function at its best. At the microscopic level, consistency does what intensity cannot. When you provide your cells with steady nourishment, antioxidants, minerals, high-quality amino acids, they rebuild themselves more efficiently. Enzymes start to work better, oxidative stress drops, and the mitochondria inside your cells, your body's natural batteries, begin producing cleaner energy. Each meal becomes a gentle message of reassurance to your biology. We're safe. You can repair now. And over time, that safety translates into vitality. The beauty of small shifts is that they respect the body's wisdom. They don't force change, they invite it. And the body, given time and consistency, always responds. It's like tuning an old instrument. Each adjustment may seem minor, but soon the music begins to sound clearer, truer, stronger. In the same way, one thoughtful choice a day can realign your entire system. From your gut to your muscles, from your gut to your muscles, from your energy to your peace of mind. Because in the end, strength isn't built in leaps. It's built in layers, one quiet, mindful decision at a time. The truth is, your body hasn't forgotten how to heal. It's simply waiting for the right conditions to remember. Every small, consistent action, a few more greens on your plate, an extra glass of water, a calmer moment at breakfast, sends a message to your cells that you're on their side again. Over time, these gentle choices rebuild trust within your body. So, muscles respond, energy steadies, and strength begins to return, not through force, but through balance. Progress doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't have to. The real transformation lies in showing up each day with quiet commitment, choosing nourishment over neglect, awareness over habit, awareness over habit. Even the smallest step creates momentum, and momentum becomes renewal. So as you move forward, do it with grace. Know that it's never too late to grow stronger, clearer, to grow stronger, clearer, clearer, more peace in your own body. Begin today, calmly, confidently, and let the healing unfold. And when you're ready for the next step in this journey, stay with us, subscribe, and join the next chapter in discovering how the body, at any age, can return to its natural rhythm of strength and life.